Yes, hello. Welcome to Larger Than Live here at House Gamble. It is 7:03 Chicago Standard Time, and by that I mean I'm here and you're here. Fred, Ralph, we are on. We are on the air. Come on, you can walk in. You can walk on top of in front of the camera. You're going to be on it soon enough. So now wait a minute. I'm waiting on you because Chicago. What is it? Chicago
PD. But
Chicago
you ready
PD.
for the worst part?
Yes.
I watched it. It's a damn two-parter. So you're on your own tonight because the two-parter comes on. The second part's right now.
So I'm not going to get to see the Chicago necklace.
Well, no, that's at the end of this one. But the problem is I don't know how to operate the recording device.
DVR.
Yes, the DVR. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
DVR,
it's
right?
It's a doofer.
Hey, I know about a customized URL. I just don't know about a DVR. But I'm here now. It's all
right.
good.
We're here now, boys and girls.
Yes.
We are Larger Than Live here at House Gamble in the Thunderdome. Normally we'd be outside except for the Thunder rolled in, so we rolled inside as well. Many offices that we have. We set up sometimes shop outside on the Oasis.
We do.
2 or 3 different looks out there. Oftentimes we're setting up in here, weather permitting. We're looking to take the show on the road and set up where you would like to have us for a small fee just to cover production expenses and our fantastic egos. And so we have many different offices. And that's kind of one of the cool things about being able to do this. We can go and do this wherever and whenever we want to. One of the other cool offices that we have, we have just set this deal in motion, is with Brett and our friends at Fueled Collective in the Rookwood Commons area. You know Fueled Collective, Fred.
I do.
How about that?
Out of the production execution. And if you watch the promo, you learned a couple things about us. One, when I said, could you hear the thunder? The answer was obviously no. I did in the distance. But you also learned we're never doing any of this over. There's no, hey, take two. It's raw cut, unedited version.
The one time we had the Mickey Mouse issue, we decided to shut it down and start again. Only for your benefit. Because we don't even know when it's going on, to be honest with you. But with regard to promos, what you see is what you get, because what you got is exactly what we did. And you're right, we're not starting over and doing any of that. This is our Impact show. This is one where, we swear we're not going to use the C word, but I would tell you with regard to the C word, there has been impact. We're not going to talk about numbers that don't mean anything, that are relative to nothing. How many this, how many that. Although I will say some of the numbers that maybe not with regard to cases confirmed or deaths, the numbers that the Kentucky governor gave today are pretty stark. And if you're in the restaurant business in Kentucky, it just sucks again.
Well, I mean, basically, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear today came for, I guess, he followed the federal guidelines. He met yesterday with somebody from the federal government on the medical side. Sorry, I don't know all the names, irrelevant to me, but nonetheless, he gave 4 new, I guess, mandates, if you will. 2 that were continuing in effect. One is the mask mandate, which has been going on, I believe, since July the 10th in the state of Kentucky. The second one was the gatherings of 10 or fewer. And I love this. If you need it to be more than 10, so let's say 20, do 10 this weekend and 10 the next. Man, it would suck to be on that second 10 list, right?
That would be the greatest wedding ever. Do it twice.
Well, I'll make it easy for you. If I'm in the second 10, you can just tell me I don't have to show up.
Yeah.
But the 2 that were added that will go into effect tomorrow, which is Tuesday, July 28th, one is that bars, and bars meaning strictly bars, no food, not restaurants, will be closing for 2 weeks. That was the third one. And then the fourth one is that restaurants will be at 25% capacity indoor dining. They had been at 33. So from 33, backing it off to 25%, and you can still keep all of your outside dining, assuming that you execute social distancing. But, we were kind of kicking this around before we started tonight. There are a lot of restaurants that simply do not have outside dining. I mean, they don't. I mean, I know, and there have been, I know some Main Strasse, I know down, and this is obvious, we're talking about Kentucky, but in greater Cincinnati, I know there have been some areas that have allowed, I was down at Smoke Justice down in Covington.
The thing with Browning on Friday.
Right, we'll get to that, but I mean, Richard Dickman, the owner there, has been allowed to kind of go into the street, bring out tables, and expand the capacity of the outdoor seating. But man, if you're a restaurant that simply put doesn't have any outdoor dining, 25%. We had Jimmy Mooring on, one of the proprietors of the Holy Grail Banks, and he was talking. This would have been 6 or 7 weeks ago,
yeah.
And he talked about how if he had to go down to 33%, now 25%, he wouldn't even do it.
No.
Because you can't make ends meet doing that. So I don't know. It's just, and I get it, and I tried to watch the governor. He talked about, the state of Kentucky, we don't want to have the same numbers as Texas, Arkansas. I mean, last check, I didn't realize we were in that dire of a strait.
No, and again, I go back and I'm looking at the state numbers, and I live in Claremont County, and we're still not in double-digit deaths. And I know it's terrible to measure stuff that way, but and we're not going to talk about these kind of numbers, because I think a lot of it, and as we get into the Reds and the Major League Baseball, a lot of this goes back to what we said at the very beginning. This won't matter to anybody until it happens to you, or someone that you know, or something that's right there at the tip of your nose, whether it's your favorite baseball player, whatever that is. So that's kind of where we find ourselves right now, is people waiting for it to close in around them and affect somebody that is, near and dear to their heart or their interests.
But I guess one of the bigger issues for me, and I'm an owner of a small business, and I have just, my entire business has been on hold.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially it's been canceled since about March. Now we're just waiting on what's going to happen this fall. And as you well know, Finn, I have no control over any of this. I mean, we just wait, we try to stay in touch with people, we try to modify essentially what we're doing. But I guess the thing for me that I don't understand is, and the governor talked about, and I'm with you on the numbers. Don't tell me how many confirmed cases today. I don't know what anybody is supposed to do with that information on any level. I really don't. What does that mean to the common person?
It doesn't mean anything.
But what I do know for the common person is the only thing that we can do and you can do is what we're being at least suggested that makes a difference. I still don't understand why this is so difficult. We'll get to Major League Baseball. But I would tell you the problem is I don't feel like people do the simple things that they're being asked to do. I don't want to wear a mask, especially on days like today. It's hotter than hell. It's uncomfortable. I don't like it. It's not normal to us.
Right.
But if they're telling me that it makes a discernible difference, I'm going to do it.
I went to the Kroger near you here on the way over here to pick up a couple of necessities. Cheers.
Oh, yes.
And
thank you, by the way.
As I was walking around, I mean, they have the face covering thing up. There was one guy walking around like this, no mask, not one dangling off his wrist, not wearing it off his ear, nothing. He was just waiting for somebody to say something to him. And again, I go back to the thing, and we've been saying this from the very beginning. It's easier to do what you're asked to do than what you're told to do.
Right,
no one wants to do what they're told.
Right.
Again, we are a nation founded on not doing what we're told.
Yeah.
It's the whole reason we exist is we are non-compliant. But at the same time, we are under a flag that is supposed to say United, so this is the one thing that we can do. You don't have to take it personally. You can do what you're asked to do, or you're going to find yourself in this situation. But again, I go back to Claremont County. The one number that strikes me, the opposite of the way it's supposed to, 9 deaths in Claremont County.
Well, I
9.
think the issue with
We have more
Claremont,
bee sting deaths, I think, in Claremont
well,
County.
the issue in Claremont County, we talked to Mike Doris from News 5. We do the reality check on News 700 WOW. Normally Thursday nights 9 to midnight, but as long as the Reds continue to play, they have a game every Thursday evening in the month of August, so we're not on. So we'll be having more announcements of time that we're going to be doing some additional shows here in Larger Than Live. We've got some special guests we're working on, etc. But, what I don't, for you, it's if you had only 10 cases and now you had 21, it's the percentage of increase. Yeah. And again, I just don't understand. The other piece that the governor announced today is his recommendation that schools, they're talking about trying to get the kids back in schools, recommending that school districts wait till the 3rd week of August, where most of them have bumped the date back anyway before they have in-school learning. And I can tell you that I know districts in greater Cincinnati, they're right now
voting. I think Hamilton voted today, Fairfield tomorrow, on how you're going to get a lot of hybrid. You're going to get a lot of, we're going to start this way, then go to that. I don't know. I don't know what to think of any of this. I know everybody's frustrated.
No one does. And if you get it figured out for the students, then it's what about the teachers? A legitimate concern. Then if you get it figured out for the teachers, well, that doesn't make sense for the kids. Well, what about the bus drivers? There are so many moving parts. Ultimately, this is going to be a trial and error sort of thing. And speaking of which, Major League Baseball. Well, I mean, we always joke about the fact that a lot happens between Monday and even Thursday when we're on LW.
Right.
And then again, Thursday to Monday. Think about everything that's happened.
Oh, I know.
Thursday with Friday being opening day night.
Oh, yeah.
And today. I mean, the games that are being canceled, postponed, are they going to be forfeited? When are they going to make some of these games up? Is Major League Baseball even going to make it halfway through this truncated season?
It's a great question. I remember ESPN's Buster Olney said originally, I give it a 5% chance of the season starting and a 0% chance of it finishing. Now, I got to be honest with you. It started off, and I've been watching. I watched all the Reds games over the weekend. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I did. And I'm still supporting the cause, and we'll get to that. But, you know, you had 2 games canceled tonight. The Marlins are the one where 13 members.
Yeah, how about that?
Well, from players and coaches and staff, 13 members have tested positive. And again, you say, well, why are there 2 games canceled? Well, their game was canceled, and they most recently played in Philly. So they canceled the Phils game. So you've got 2 canceled, and you're right. The 60-game sprint, there are only 6 off days. And now you've got 3 games in, so, you know, you don't have a lot of wiggle room to make games up. And, you know, they have these expanded rosters and travel rosters, if you will. But, you know, I mean, the safety and the unknowing of this, and it's even hit the Reds.
At the same time, yeah, because the jury was out as of us going on the air about Moustakas and Senzel weren't feeling well, but was it because Moustakas was scratched last night, right?
Well, Moustakas was scratched, yes. I'm trying to keep track. Yeah.
We're only 3 games in, Fred.
No, he was actually scratched Saturday and Sunday.
Was it
I
both?
believe. Yeah, because he had the big opening day.
Right.
And then, and of course, Matt Davidson was the one that they confirmed had tested positive of the Reds. And you know, and what's weird about this is they had that 3-week kind of spring training, like the acclimation, where they used Great
Summer
American
camp or
Ballpark,
whatever
and
they
then they
called
went
it.
to Prasco Park, and everything seemed to be okay. They're not having any fans. I mean, there are very few people in the ballpark.
But you know what? Doc wrote an article about this after day 1. He said, look, he goes, this appears to just be lip service. He was looking around and he said, guys are still doing what they were doing, high-fiving, slapping ass. And, you know, everything that they weren't supposed to be doing, he said, I saw them doing all of that stuff. And I don't look at that as tattletaling. That's just the real deal. That's how you get to where you're going to be.
Well, the issue becomes that I was under the impression that with no fans in the ballpark, they were gonna even put players up in the lower part of the seats.
Yeah.
But of course, we've got advertising. I get all that. I get it's a business. I understand all that. Guys weren't going to be like packed and congregating in the bullpens together. But boy, I tell you, you watch. You know, they're high fiving. Some are wearing masks. Some are not. Most of the managers and the older, they are.
Well.
But I'm just saying, some I've seen some wear them in the field. Hardly any. I wouldn't. I don't know that I'd wear it if I was batting.
And here's what not if you're batting, but at the same time, I'm also seeing a lot of them wear like this.
Oh, I know.
That doesn't do you any good because guess where all the mucus membranes are that are picking this stuff up?
Well,
besides your mouth, I mean, your eyes and your nose are the second and third, maybe the first and third.
But here's what
spots.
I would tell you. I mean, at the end of the day, I saw an interview with Trevor Bauer today, who pitched a great game yesterday. And I like Trevor Bauer. He's honest. And he said, you know what? I know the risks. I took the risk. I'm here. I'm going to play this out. And he basically said, if I get it, I get it. I mean, I'm assuming the risk, and I think that's where you have to be.
We're going to have to get to that point at some point. We're going to have to get to a point,
hopefully
where you
sooner
take
than
on
later.
Your own risk. I mean, we've talked about signing release forms and all those sorts of things. Because here's what I would tell you. This is something we were talking about the other day. You can sign all the release forms you want to for high school or this or that. If your kid gets it and dies, that release form is going to be of no use to you as the organization in court. It's not.
It is not going to get the job done. And if you don't think that there's not a class action lawsuit against the government coming from small business owners and bar and restaurant owners, you're crazy. There absolutely is going to happen.
Well, I can tell you as someone who operates events, we have anybody who participates in any kind of a promotion where there's any physical activity whatsoever, just because you never know. Somebody could jog and fall down and become injured.
But that's a known potential injury.
But I would tell you, even attorneys would tell you, yes, we've gone over and gone back to them and said, hey, look at this, make sure we're covered. But I would still, can I tell you a quick story about one of the greatest of all time?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we're here for.
So years
That's
ago,
the reason I come over here.
Years ago, early in the life of the Skyline Chili Crosstown Showdown, one of our sponsors, it wasn't Skyline, decided to have a field goal kicking contest where you could ultimately win $5,000. So we picked a person in advance, and I'm not going to lie, this is the live and you learn. This was back when I was a hell of a lot younger, and this is when you learn something. So, you have to take the video of the person. So there's proof.
For the insurance policy.
Right, so there's proof, the insurance policy, which we had. Well, the one thing that I did not see at the time was you couldn't tell the person in advance, too far in advance, so they had any time to essentially, quote unquote, practice.
Right.
And then there was a distinct stipulation for field goal kicking on what type of shoes you could wear. As in, you probably shouldn't be wearing steel toe boots. So we have Fred, he wins, he comes to the game, and you had to make an extra point. Then you had to make a field goal. Then the last field goal got you $5,000. This dude, extra point in the second field goal, he just drilled it. Steel toe, and I'm not, at the time, not even thinking about it. And all I know is, I can tell you, I'm thinking, we're screwed. Regardless, we are in a world of hurt here. And then he got nervous and drilled it about a foot into the ground, straight in the ground. But then after that, it's been funny since then. No matter what you do, you have to make damn sure that you read every word, every fine print.
It said no steel toe boots in the.
Oh hell yeah,
it did. Yeah.
Well, it gave a specification of the exact type of shoe you could and couldn't wear.
You and I have done enough of these things.
Oh yeah, we have.
Where if there is a list of 99 things that you have covered off on,
we're screwed. We're the one.
The 100th thing is the thing that's going to happen. Somebody showed up, and all of a sudden, well, I've got somebody, I've got my 6-year-old. What do I do with them? Oh, I've got this. And it's just like, you can't, no one with just a straight normal set of needs ever wins anything to do anything.
Well, I had one last year, I'll admit this, where you also have to weigh the insurance policy, because basically it's based on the number of people, number of attempts during the course of whatever, and how difficult it is. And I remember there was one cornhole thing one time, speaking of your ACO.
Right.
This wasn't ACO related, but it was like from a ridiculous distance.
Yeah.
But you would win a car.
Yeah.
So the odds were astronomical. But last year we had a half-court shot at a basketball event. And the year before I did it, so I thought, the hell with it, I'll roll the dice. It was to win $1,000.
Was it the Mercy Health Tip-Off Classic?
It might have been.
Yeah.
And guess what?
Swish.
Yeah, swish. I got the call from Eagle who said, hey, I'm standing here with Susie. She just drained a half-court shot. I'm like, awesome. Yep. Yes, indeed. Just get Susie's info. We'll be shooting her a check.
Well, you talk about athletic participation
Yes.
and practicing. I want to get back to that and roll it back to opening day here in just a moment, because it kind of ties everything we've talked about together in a neat little bow. But first thing, reset. Welcome to Larger Than Live. He's Gamble, I'm Finn. This is an extension of the show that we started doing on 700 WLW. Thursday nights, 9 to midnight. You won't see any of those this month because of said Reds.
Actually, you won't see any of them anytime, but you can hear them.
That's true, yeah.
Right.
That's a good point.
You see these, you hear those,
Yes.
and my guess is the audio is much more pleasant.
And for this, we apologize.
Right.
In fact, I also
Well,
realized...
dude, I was going to say, can you wear a damn shirt?
I probably
It's like you're
shouldn't-
wearing... Honestly, it looks like you just rolled out of the sack and you don't even live here.
I thought this was a nicer shirt than it was, but when I saw it on camera...
It looked like a
during the
V-neck
promo-
undershirt to me
well,
when I
it's-
first saw
it's
it.
Old
right?
Navy. I mean, this is a good $4.95.
Right.
This
Oh,
shirt.
I mean, don't outdo yourself.
I shouldn't have worn it against this background.
Right, it's not a good
It's like,
backdrop
you know what I'm
for
going to
you,
do?
is
I'm going to wear a green screen, and then the eagle can put whatever he wants on it.
Right.
I'm just gonna wear a green
We should
shirt.
both do that.
We should.
Yeah,
You can just do
all
whatever
kinds
you
of
want.
graphics
All
on
right.
us.
Anyway, so we normally do 9 to midnight on Thursday nights, but we're going to look to double up some of these shows in August. I think we're going to take 1 week off in August because I'm getting Mini Finn set up in college, and I've got to do the isolation and all that stuff. But we want you to be interactive. We appreciate the comments. We're getting comments in as we go here, thanks to Blake and Sadowski. He's on there. There's a handful of others, Keith and Jerry Herzenberg.
He's a good man.
Yep. He's on there. Justin
Jerry's
and a handful of others watching. But, please feel free to fire comments. We have our crack production crew.
Oh, yeah.
They're also responding to some of these comments. I get home later and put my own slant on.
Like and share.
Yeah, like and share and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Customized URL.
Customized URL on the
hell
YouTube
that
channel.
means.
All that stuff. We're just trying to build this empire from the ground up. So, speaking of practicing,
Yes.
opening day and the C word all together. Anthony Fauci's first pitch was,
Now hang on, Mallory still got him beat for
it's still worse.
Ever.
Yeah,
it's
but it's up in it's got to be in the pantheon of the top 5.
And not only that, then he sat in the stands. He didn't wear a mask.
Boom, and then he put his mask down like this, and that was that.
Right,
So
and he was with two. Now, one of them presumably was, I guess, his wife, but he was with somebody else. But it goes back to me, even with Trump.
Practice what you preach,
yes.
bitch.
Yes.
I'm not kidding.
Come on, Doc.
But here's
you're better than that.
But here's the thing. That pitch was so bad.
Here's the thing, Fred.
And he said, well, I went to a high school and I played catch.
No, he
for
didn't.
2 days. No,
no,
he did. He said for
who did he play catch with? Someone who was blind.
A couple of days before, apparently a wall.
And I can say that.
A couple of days before he went and practiced at a high school, and he said he threw his arm out. Now he is 79 years old.
Right, I'll give you.
But again,
well,
look, if you're
talking
a man,
to somebody who can't raise up his arm to wave at a neighbor, I can't really say anything.
I don't care.
No,
you're not left-handed, but even with your shoulder problem and throwing with your left hand, you could have still gotten it to the plate.
I could throw right.
If you are a man and you cannot throw a baseball, what is it, 60 feet?
60 feet, 6 inches.
60 feet,
yes.
6 inches.
Here's what I would tell
and
you.
somewhere near that big giant plate.
Here's what I would tell you. If you're worried that you can't step off the mound itself, there's nothing wrong. Agreed, at 79, you're okay. It's like if somebody can't make a free throw, they go to the little half circle, do that. Get on the grass, throw it in there. Don't embarrass yourself.
Well,
that was
and then
brutal.
to embarrass yourself later sitting in the stands with the mask off, because the thing is, you can say, I was with my wife, but the optics, how do people forgotten the word
No,
optics?
you're right.
And perception is reality. And if you're asking people to do this certain thing and you don't do it, all you have done now, just like the people that aren't wearing the masks, you are giving the powers that be the reason to continue doing this.
Two things. Back to Governor Beshear today. He showed a photograph of like an exterior of a bar, and you can imagine the mass crowd, everybody on top of each other. But then it was a news story they went to, and I didn't catch the bar or this person's name. It was an owner of a bar somewhere over here in Kentucky. And he basically was saying, look, I get it. He's like, it's up to us. He goes, I know I've been to other establishments where they just are blowing this totally off.
Yeah.
He goes, those people are killing it for the people like us who are doing the right thing.
I would tell you in a one particular area of town that I know pretty well, it has popped up in 3 different spots. All 3 of those spots are very forthcoming by saying, we've had someone test positive or be around somebody test positive. Here's what we are doing. We wanted to let you know. There's a 4th place that has, the word of mouth has been that 3 people at that place have tested positive and showed symptoms. Haven't said a word. I would tell you the PR on those first 3 has been solid and has been big, and it's engendered a whole new level of confidence in those places as businesses. But it'll be interesting to see how it affects this 4th one. I don't want to mention any names because I'm not 100% sure how they have manifested the fix.
Would you, and you and I have talked about this, the list, et cetera, things. If I'm in those other 3, I'm going there. And I'm saying, look, man, we're all, I hate to use that bad phrase, but we're all in this together. We own establishments, and people will tell you, restaurant and bar owners will tell you, the more, I remember Jimmy Mooring at the bank saying, I want things around us because it's better for everybody.
One boat rises, all boats rise.
Right, and those places have to want that place to do it right or they're all screwed.
Yeah, well, it's and that's the peer pressure and all of that from a business standpoint may or may not make a difference. But you're right. At some point, there has to be some sort of council meeting or group meeting to say this is what we're all going to agree to adopt for everybody's best interest. Now let's go back to the Reds and the possible positive tests on a number of players. You mentioned Miami. Not a surprise that it's completely whacked. Well, the bubble. They didn't really institute the bubble the way the NBA and MLS did, which seems to be working to their benefit.
And I would tell you, I'm not sure Major League Baseball can do the bubble.
Right.
Simply because you need, especially, you need your 25 or 26 person roster. Then you need those other extras to bring in if somebody does test positive. NBA, it's a little easier, except when you got to get that exception to go to the strip club and get some chow.
No, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that.
But the bubble does. The MLS is back. It's and by the way, how about I got to get after I ripped them, they've put up stellar performances against teams that, honest to God, look like they couldn't beat somebody from King's
Come on
Hammer.
now, credit where credit is due. FC Cincinnati,
and of course
tomorrow
night, FC Cincinnati in Orlando. Hoping you watch it at 10:30. Makes a hell of a lot of sense. But anyway, I digress.
The COVID goes away when the sun goes down.
No, the bubble seems to work. I mean, but here's what I would also throw out there. If Major League Baseball's having this issue this quickly, hello NFL.
Yeah.
Yikes.
They got to be sitting around going, uh-oh.
Can you imagine? No, I mean, because football is so – I mean, in Major League Baseball, there's next to no – really, the only contact is when a base is stolen, when there's a pickoff play at first, a pick play at another base. Other than that, you really don't come into contact.
Or ass-slapping and high-fiving and all that stuff.
Well, what do you think you see in football?
Oh, no. They're piled on top of each other in a dog pile. But at the same time, we were talking about, they had to be licking their chops going, everybody's waiting for us to come back because we're going to do this. But now you're starting to see even countries that were, it almost disappeared, spiking back up. Australia, Japan, Hong Kong, and things like that. But we told you from the very beginning that this was going to spike, it was going to go down, and then it was going to come back in the fall. And we're
not even to the fall.
You watch. No, but it's going to come back harder, faster. It's going to be the $6 million
let's just call the
virus.
rest of the year off.
I think ultimately a lot of things are going to have to, and then that's when the class action lawsuits against the government begin. Now you mentioned old boy, was it Lou from the Clippers? Who? What's his name?
I don't know his name. It's here.
Dummy McJackass.
Who was it?
Lou Williams.
Lou Williams, that's right. Yeah,
he went to the street. He got busted. He had to leave for
wait
the double
to get food
for a funeral. That's a load of shit.
He went there to get food. Who the hell eats at a strip club? Although
no. Let's not go there just yet because there's a kernel of potential in that excuse. He's lying, but
really
he left for a funeral. He got special dispensation. And then on his way back, and the way he got caught is my favorite. He came back, and normally I think they had like a 9-day quarantine if they left the bubble. But because he was popped, having gone to a strip club in Atlanta, and again he said it was to go get dinner. Now I've been to the Pink Pony in Atlanta, and their food is fantastic. It really is quite good. People would go there, businessmen would go there for lunch because they had a really high-end chef that put out very nice food. I hesitate to call it the spread.
Have you been to Cheetah 3?
I did not go to the Cheetah 3.
The Gold Club?
I had not been to the Gold Club.
I've been to those too.
The Pink Pony was
I did not make it to the
our
Pony.
mainstay. That's what we did Toys for Tatas there, which we did outside.
But you do remember
under tents, the drive-in
you and I
strip
once
club.
had a radio
absolutely.
where we were told, man, we were excited about the cheeseburgers.
So great burgers.
They
were really good. Where was that? Was that?
That was
New York.
That was
New
where
York.
Jackal. No, that was Cheeks.
Cheeks. They had a fantastic cheeseburger.
They did. And look how pitiful are we. You don't think we got problems?
So there's a chance that Lou Diamond Phillips or whoever it was,
Lou Williams,
he might
be distant relation to us, and we just don't know it.
He might have actually gone there for dinner, but he got busted because some rap star posted a picture of the two of them together. He posted it, and then he took it down real quick, and then he posted another thing later saying, "Oh, that's an old picture of us," and he took that down very quickly again because it's like that's complete bullshit. So I love it. I love the fact that that's how he got busted. He's going to miss 2 of their seeding games now as a result. Way to go. I'm sure the rest of the team really appreciates that dumbass.
Now, opening day, I cannot speak for the Holy Grail, the Banks. I know I texted Jimmy, and he said they had a good day. But I was down at Smoke Justice. We were early. And I got to tell you, and he's going to join us out here as a special guest, and that would be Tom Browning, Mr. Perfect. He was there. I talked to him down at Smoke Justice. I was actually in the Bourbon Lounge, which I know you.
Yeah.
We need to work on something.
We'll work on that.
Down there.
We'll get there as well.
But it just, it didn't have, and I know the crowd build as the day wore on, but it's just when you can't go to the game.
Yeah.
It's just
a different vibe.
It is a different vibe. It really and truly is. I mean, the weather was nice. Everything was, but it just,
Well, you do what you can do. And even now,
Correct.
I will say, watching it on TV, the crowd noise, the little crowd hum that they had going on, there wasn't reaction to plays
Right.
They didn't try to do any of that. But just having that crowd hum there's something soothing about that.
And where you can hear the crack of the bat, you hear
all that,
you hear all
the
that
snap
stuff.
in the glove.
From a viewer standpoint on television, I think it's an outstanding view.
It didn't bother me at all because you know what does bother me? When there are people there and they're sitting in the diamond seats and this is what they're doing.
I thought of you last night. Chris Welsh, he made the point on the Fox Sports, so I guess it was yesterday afternoon. He goes, the only thing different about those, he goes, I hope with those cutouts, if they're going to make them for real, they should have people looking at their phones. He did. He said that. I thought, that's pretty good. That's
He's
right
exactly
on point.
sad but
now,
true.
I'll tell you what, I caught a little
He's
of,
exactly
I guess
right.
it was the Yankees at the Nationals, and I'm telling you, man, when you think about the technology, like they
put people in the stands.
Well, they did, but when the pitcher threw over to first, they had the instant boo. I mean, it was outstanding.
Oh,
They
that's
were
great.
even the announcers were even commenting on how well that sound was.
Yeah,
it was pretty good.
And different places are going to handle it different ways. There was the one Japanese team that put the sex dolls in the stands. They ended up, or was it a Korean team?
I think it was a Korean team from the KBO,
and they ended up having to apologize.
Right? Come on.
Well,
man.
because it looked like everybody was just going boo or like that all the time. It's a pretty good look, don't you think?
Now the Reds, everybody out there, don't panic. I mean, look,
there's only 60 games. 3 of them are in the books. They're 1 and 2.
Well, hang on.
Where's my money? I spent my money.
I heard this. Every game is worth 2.7. So basically, when you lose a game, you could have when you're losing 2.7 wins. Now, I will tell you, I like David Bell. He's a local guy, went to Moeller. But man, oh man, dude. I mean,
why is he tinkering the way he's tinkering
here's what I would tell you, and I thought Chris Welsh, again, I'll give him credit. He said this. Tons of talent in that bullpen, but you have to find guys who can do, when you call on them, you can trust them to do what you expect them to do. Let me give you just one exhibit. Rizal Iglesias. The dude was 3-12 last year. He was horrible when you needed him not to be. So he's 0-1 this year. He's given up 25 home runs, the most in Major League Baseball the last 2 years plus one game. You can't count on him anymore.
No. So why, when guys seem to be throwing, some guys have been throwing lights out already, and this is throughout the league. You had a lot of guys throwing over 100 pitches, which is rare anymore. Why, when it's an accelerated sprint season, why not just put the foot on the throat and snap when you can?
The problem with baseball is it's all money related.
Everybody doesn't have to play every game.
Well, but my point to you is, so Amir Garrett, when he's in there and he mows in the 8th, let him pitch the 9th.
Right,
but we live in an age of specialization where Fred, the closer's got to get a save for his contract. I agree with you. No, if I'm a manager, if you don't like that, you can go play for somebody else.
Yeah, I don't care. Go play somewhere else. I'm winning
the
games. Yeah, I want to win games.
But I'll tell you what, yesterday, I don't know whether...
That's the problem with all sports now. All these contracts, catches in the NFL, everything.
Think about this. The Red starters in those 3 games struck out 33, most in the team history in a 3-game set, and they went 1-2.
And they're 1-2 against that team.
Well, here's what I would tell you, though. I watched that game yesterday. I'm like, my God, can anybody hit a ball? Terrible. And Votto...
Oh, Joey Votto. He's one of the best players ever to play the game. Shut up.
Let me just tell you. Let me tell you
something
something about Joey Votto that just sends me over the edge. Nothing irritates me more, I know you know this, than idiocy. Somebody was a guest. I'm not going to mention what show. I'm not going to mention what station. Somebody was a guest. I will tell you, she was a female who's on another station who was a guest on another show on a different station to talk about the Reds, apparently, and she needs to do a little bit more homework or get a flippin' brain. Because what she did was she shared the walk-up music of pitchers. Hey, dumbass, they're using the designated hitter in the National League this year. The pitchers aren't going to hit. And then she said, but here's the walk-up music of Joey Votto. Votto! You're in Cincinnati. How can you not know how to pronounce Joey Votto's name? Once again, tremendous coaching, tremendous knowledge. It just it blows me away. Again, these people are paid to be on the air.
Yeah.
Paid.
Yeah, well,
it's
a shame.
now.
No, well, I'm glad you got that out.
Jeez.
That's kind of why I brought it up, just so you could get out, because I thought you were going to.
Now, when Amir Garrett comes to the plate, he won't come to the plate.
Come to the plate. Maybe in the dining room. Maybe that was it. The walk up to the plate in the dining room.
Joey Votto.
Oh man,
Joey Votto hit into a double play to cost him the game yesterday.
Yeah, way to go!
Come on, Votto.
Way to go,
You can do better than that.
Speaking of plates in the dining room, our buddy Brad, who is the chef for the team. Yeah, he and I were texting back and forth the first night, and he's like, "This is the weirdest thing ever."
It's got to be.
They were sending over tickets to him to make what they want, and then it was being delivered to them. They were even talking about it on the air.
Well, they talk about a filet or a T-bone as a box lunch.
In a box lunch. Right. And he said it is so weird to send a $60 steak to somebody in a cardboard box or whatever. But he sent me a picture of one of the tickets. I forget who it was. Let's see if I can find it real quick. And he goes, maybe I shouldn't say.
No, I don't think I would say.
You think I shouldn't say?
But here's what I would tell you.
One of the tickets that one of the guys sent him had a pretty funny note on the bottom of it.
What I would tell you is
extra instructions.
They're eating well.
Yeah,
they're doing okay.
Fine.
Right.
Yeah.
They're going to eat. They eat better tonight than I probably will.
Yeah, it's at the bottom of the ticket. Should I say this or not?
Totally
I won't say who it is. No, I'm not going to say it. I don't want to get him in trouble.
You could get him in trouble.
I don't want to get him in trouble. But he was saying
he'd be an interesting guest.
Well,
I've
already asked him to see if he can come on. I don't know if they'll let him. If they'll let him speak.
Clearance.
But the guy who's in charge of all the food for all the players and what he knows and everything else about what they already want and stuff. It's fascinating to talk to him about this.
By the way, you probably haven't paid close enough attention yet. Have you seen what Travis Jankowski of the Reds looks like? I'm telling you. No, I'm serious.
What he looks like.
He is a dead-on for Bronson Arroyo.
Oh, yeah.
He looks,
yes.
Even Chris Welshman, he said,
yeah.
This guy, and literally, they went to Jim Day during the broadcast, and he said that he gets, like, people chase him down for his autograph of Bronson Arroyo.
I'm sure.
He's like, I'm not Bronson Arroyo. The dude looks exactly like him.
I'd sign him anyway.
Oh, I would too.
I would.
But he looks exactly like him.
All right. He's Gamble on Finn. It's larger than live
Reset.
every Monday night. We're going to take a Monday off here in a couple of weeks. We'll keep you posted about that. Normally, you'll find us 9 to midnight, Thursday night, 700 WLW as part of the reality check. None of those this month, though, because of the Reds schedule. So you'll find us here on Mondays. We're looking to double up. Well, yeah.
Unless the Major League Baseball season ends rather quickly.
Yeah, by midnight.
There's an abrupt
tonight.
We might be on in 3 nights.
Yeah, we might be on this Thursday. But anyway, that's what we're here doing, and we really appreciate you guys being part of it. We want you to be a part of it. We want you to be part of Show and Tell, which is a chance for you to take something cool that you have. Send us a picture of it, gambleandfin, A-N-D, gambleandfin at gmail.com. Send us a picture of it. Send us a little story behind it, something cool that you've got, and we'll exchange that information with everybody else that's watching for you. But we want you to be part of it because this is something we do every week, and we're going to do here in a moment. But there is something that our buddy Nathan Hanneman. Did you ever meet Nathan from Horror Hound?
I don't think so. I know who he is.
He puts on the Horror Hound, the big weekend in. I think there's one in Indianapolis. The one in the.
I remember you talking about him. I have not met him.
Convention Center. This is the ones where like they bring in like the hottest shit, like when The Walking Dead was hot.
Right.
They brought in all the Walking Dead cast members and anybody from the world that ever played. Not Freddy Krueger. I mean, there's only been a couple of those.
This is where you got some autographs.
I got some cool autographs.
Okay, right.
But, anybody that ever played Jason Voorhees or, anything to do with the horror genre.
Sure.
He's got Horror Hound magazine. But he brought up a great point. And you and I, we've talked about things that we collected. So I want to take a week to think about this.
Okay.
And this is something also, if you collect anything at home, what would be, and I told him we were stealing this, but giving him credit, what would be the holy grail of your collection? So if you collect beer cans, is there one can that more than anything you wanted? If you collect magazines or if you collect, what would be that one thing, like those Funko Pop
So do
dolls?
you have to have it, or do you?
No,
is it something?
what would you consider the one that you would want more than anything?
Well, I'm gonna next week. I'll share with you what is of mine. It's something my wife got me. She probably forgot that she got it for me.
But is that the top thing you would want in that collection?
Pretty damn
and
cool.
you own it.
Yeah,
You already have it. Okay, because I thought I was odd that there's something that would be the holy grail of a collection for me that I also own.
Okay.
I would have said I would love something from this, and I actually have something from
that's
that.
cool.
So that's odd because I don't think a lot of people, because people that collect Funko Pops and different things like that, they're like, oh, it'd be great if I could get my hands on this, or back in the day, I guess Beanie Babies and stuff like that. What would be that one you wanted to get your hand on? So if you have those that you want to share with us between now and next week, feel free to do that. Again, share your show and tell. That's not easy to say.
If it's a Beanie Baby, send it in under an assumed name.
Yeah.
If you're an adult.
Hey, some of those are worth squillions of dollars, dude. The
Again.
Princess Diana Beanie Baby, I've heard, is worth like a ton of money.
That's all I need to hear.
Huh?
That's all I need to hear. The Princess Diana Beanie Baby.
I'm not proud that I know that.
Neither am I. I'm
right,
starting to get nervous.
Are you ready for show and
Hey,
tell?
there's something else. I wanted to tell you something else, and now I just...
Oh, was it about the Reds?
No. We're at that age and stage where things just start to go...
Was it the fact that the Evil Knievel stunt cycle is back?
No, I didn't.
I'm getting one of those for
told,
myself.
You told me, you need that.
I'm going to get one as a Labor Day gift to myself.
Well, I will tell you, though, I don't know whether I've mentioned this, but our dog has been born.
Oh, that's right. Future Fidge.
Future Fidge is 2 weeks old, maybe.
Yeah,
And I need a fence.
When do you pick her up?
I can't make this up. I'm getting a couple quotes, and the woman called me back, and I had to play the message back like 3 times to make sure I got the name right. She said, "This is Bambi." And I was like,
all right.
Bambi ought to be calling about putting up a fence.
There you go.
Because a lot of times you got to keep Bambi out.
That's right. That's a good point. That's a good point.
We have a 3-legged deer that lives back here.
Did you call her up and say, hello, Bambi dear? Did you say that when you called back?
Well, I would have, but Bambi didn't answer the phone when I called.
Well, you mentioned Future Fidge.
Future Fidge,
So you're going to
yes.
pick Future Fidge up in 6
Well,
to 8
it
weeks?
has to be between, I think it's September 9th and 16th.
Okay.
So, yes.
Very good. All right. So you just reminded me of my...
And we only have to drive Fidge 5 hours.
Is that it? Yeah,
That's
that should be a fun ride back.
That'll be awesome in a crate with a puppy.
I have a Calvin story for you. And this isn't as much a story about him as it is about me and him. So I've been walking him every day dutifully, 2 to 5 miles.
Yeah, you
whatever.
have. I'll give you credit.
No
You
matter
have.
how hot, whatever, we get out. He's jet black, so we try to stay in the shade as much as we can. Well, the other day I said, you know what? I've lost about 20 pounds, 21 pounds. I'm going to see if I can get a little jog going here into the, interval jogging.
With Calvin?
With Calvin, while I'm with him. So we'll walk, and then I thought, here's what we'll do. When we're in the shade, we'll walk, and then when we hit the sunny parts, we'll jog to the next part of the shade. That helps him, and it would, get my heart rate going back and forth. So the first time, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to do this. I'm all limbered up, and I'm ready to go.
Jesus.
And we hit the sun, and I start jogging, and I look over, and his stride hasn't changed at all. He hasn't changed. He's still just walking and keeping up with my running. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm surprised I wasn't leaving dents in the pavement.
It is funny when
He
you
didn't
say
change his stride at all.
Because I try to do an occasional interval of jog, and when I jog and I'm done with the little jog I ask myself, did I really jog faster than I was previously walking?
Well,
I
apparently I was
Apparently
not.
you didn't?
Yeah, I looked over. He hadn't adjusted his stride at all. I thought, oh no, I have a long way to go.
But they say jogging is worse for you too, if you believe that.
Well,
stuff.
if
pounding on the knees.
if I'm running, this contraption on top of these joints,
Let me just give you a
It
newsflash.
can't be good for them.
I don't want to be your knees.
No, I wouldn't either. All right. So as we all continue to look ahead and we try to make sure that our hand sanitizer isn't killing us, let's lighten it up as we wrap it up. How about a little show and tell?
All right, now do I need to show these, or am I on the screen?
You'll have them on the screen.
Okay.
But I'm going to show mine too. Mine will be on the screen, but I'm going to show mine as well.
I can hold. I mean, I'll hold.
Oh, that's right.
Yes,
That's right.
It's time.
It is
It's time for show and tell. You think at some point we'd rehearse this and be a little more.
I got it highlighted on my thing. I've looked down at this. In fact, when I'm watching it on the screen, I'm watching myself watch this, and I still screwed it up.
So I've got two things because I thought, okay, we've got one sport underway, one, I think they report tomorrow. As far as the 28th, yeah, tomorrow the NFL report. So let's see. Does it matter which one I start with?
No?
Okay. So baseball's in
Just make it good.
So this is one the Reds.
Oh, look at
gave
you.
out.
That's cool.
This is from Browning, Tom Browning, who I had a chance to hang out with for a while last Friday. Great guy. If you've never met him, he's done some stuff with our high school event down at the Reds Youth Academy. But this, after he threw the perfect game, September 16th, 1988, against the LA Dodgers, 1-0.
Yeah.
The Reds gave this, look at 700 WOWs on there. The Reds gave this poster away a little later, and I had him sign this when I didn't know him, probably back in 1991. And I got to tell you, he's a great, great guy.
Yeah.
Browning, I mean, he's just a down-to-earth, likes his lager.
Well, and he's also a guy that when you get a chance to hear that story about the rooftop.
The rooftop, which when he comes out, he'll tell but what was. And in fact, if you check out the Facebook page that you're on now, Lori, we posted that where he talked about the rooftop. But here's the one thing. I was sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, this guy threw the perfect game in 88. The next year, he got to the 9th inning. He was 2 outs away from being the only pitcher in Major League Baseball history to throw 2 perfect games.
Yeah.
And when you look, I mean, you just look at, you know what I mean? You're kind of like, huh? All right, then my other one.
All right.
Bengals, now he's not signed yet, but you have to assume at some point he will. This is a signed photo of playing for a good team, Joe Burrow and LSU. Last year, obviously, national champs. Burrow autographed that, so there you go. I'm an LSU fan before last year, so don't anybody say
really?
That. Yes.
Were you really?
I was.
You liked Les? Was it Les Miles?
Oh, I did like Les.
Les,
because he's nuts.
He was crazy. He's a
but
crazy
I like
person.
Easy Ed too. He's a piece of work too.
Ed-O.
Ed-O, and Les is now at Kansas.
Yeah.
Les got screwed. I mean, they shouldn't have fired him. He did a hell of a job, but nonetheless.
All right.
They didn't ask me.
So
what do you got?
And this is something I forgot I had until just a couple days ago.
You think maybe we have too much when you're forgetting stuff you have?
This here, hang on. Jesus, this is good. You might be able to tell what decade I bought. What
is the significance of this?
This is shit. I did bring the thing. Sorry, Lori. I did bring this microphone. Anyway.
Well, maybe if you didn't put it in your show and tell.
Well,
can you button that?
This is a. Not just yet. Not the way. Well, there's stuff in the pockets.
Really blaming on
also
the stuff
when you're
in the
riding.
pockets.
This is for the motorcycle.
Oh,
this
I
is
got you. Okay.
for the Harley.
All right.
Okay. Now I'm gonna have to cut these things off because I look like I'm getting ready to go to a dance club in 1983. But I put this on the other day because I wanted something to put my keys in and everything else. I went out riding. I've had this Harley, and this is embarrassing. I've had this. It's a 2005 15th anniversary Fat Boy. Shut up. And it's 16 years old and it has 13,000 miles on it. That's pathetic.
Well, but it's recreational, correct? I mean, it's not your primary vehicle.
It's not my primary. But here's the key to the whole thing.
All right. Okay.
And you can tell how far it goes back because it's signed and it says to Dolphin, which is
that goes way back.
Back
that would have been
to the EBN days, the 90s.
Yeah, okay.
And I want to say I got this signed at Peel's Palace. Remember Peel's Palace?
Oh, yes, I do. They used to have boxing.
It's signed by Ace Frehley, and he came in with Frehley's Comet. It wasn't at Bogart's, and I want to say it was at. In fact, I think I got a close-up photo of it coming up here. You can see the autograph. It's Ace Frehley. It says to Dolphin. Rock and roll forever, Ace Frehley. And this was I loved this thing. I wore it. I think I slept in it when I first got it done. This was the night we were at Peel's Palace and Wildman Walker had his shirt off waving it around. So go ahead and enjoy that visual.
Sick.
But so I looked through my closet because I wanted something to wear that had now again. This stuff, not so good.
Ace Frehley really, after Kiss, his solo career really skyrocketed when he's playing Peel's Palace. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, later a bloated Ace Frehley played Bogart's,
Oh, he did.
right?
He played with Frehley's Comet at Bogart's. And I had him sign a copy of Hotter Than Hell on 8-track.
But you said
Rock and Roll Over.
Didn't you say he was brutal?
No, it was horrible. It was. He's signing this old 8-track, and he goes, "Yeah, the new band's real good too. You should listen." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to be here for the show." And that wasn't too bad. Than the most recent time I saw him.
I think it was the most recent. That was just him.
Brutal.
Right?
It was when we were at 96 Rock.
Right, I remember.
He played over there, and it was just god awful.
Before a whopping 383 of your favorite friends.
Yeah,
it was sparsely attended.
It was sparsely attended. Yeah, and we had to get him some non-alcoholic beer because he hadn't been drinking in a while. But his head looked like it was full of water. So
But think about the money. I mean, when you talk about dudes who made money.
Well, I will tell you this. Somebody was telling me when Kiss went back out for the reunion tour where they started in Detroit up at Tiger Stadium and played with Sponge and Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
When the original four went back out, I went to that show. I talked to somebody who was, I guess... Oh, they were in a band or knew the band that was in the rehearsal space next door to Kiss when they had got the four guys, the original guys, back together to rehearse the tour. And they said that at one point they heard an Ace Frehley solo, and they're like, "Holy shit, man, he is killing it." And so they went over and they stuck their head in, and it was Ace standing there watching someone else show him how to play his own solos. That's how bad it had gotten. Which is too bad because he was one of my. I mean, he was, I think, my favorite in the band.
Dude, listen, you want to know how clueless I was? When I was in high school, I was a huge Kiss fan, and I'll never forget this. A guy named Bruce Callies, who I guess this was even junior high. He was a big Yes fan. And it showed how little I knew about music back then. I would debate him about the musical abilities of Kiss. I was for Kiss.
Oh, yeah.
He was for Yes. Oops.
Yeah, I did. I had those same arguments about who was more influential, Kiss or the Beatles.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I fought long and hard. And I would tell you there's a lot of 90s bands that came along that said they picked up a guitar because of Ace Frehley, not because of necessarily.
Let me see. Rick Wakeman, Steve Howe, or Ace Frehley and Gene Simmons. Musical ability. I think I missed that one slightly.
So clearly we ask you to tune in for our musical knowledge and background. Right. Anyway, I thought there was no other way to make me look even more hillbilly in this T-shirt than putting this on, except maybe this.
Turn it sideways.
So here's what we're going to do, Hoss.
Hang on.
Can I get some sunflower seeds from a lip?
You do look kind of like, God, that's awful.
I feel like the next place I need to go is a way station. And I mean that in the
hang on.
Nice as possible.
Roundabout or shout it out loud?
Roundabout it out loud. How about that? Why don't we work on that?
You look like you know who you look like? Larry the Cable Guy. You do.
Yes. Yes, his heavier brother. All right, that's going to wrap it up. Larger Than Live. It's been a pleasure.
It's time to be done. When you start seeing this,
I got to be honest with
you. Hope you have a great night.
I thought we ended 15 minutes ago, I didn't realize we were still on. So thanks for watching. Thanks for paying attention. Like, share, and of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Correct.
Gamble, capital N, Fin. Also, if you want to be part of Show and Tell, if you've got something as stupid as this, bring it. Gamble, A-N-D.
Well, this shows you can whatever you got can't be this bad.
Can't be that bad.
Right. And remember, we'll have a lot of updates as to when we're going to be on, who our special guests will be. So make sure you check it out.
And we're going to start doing kind of little promos here just to keep everything engaged. We're learning all sorts of things from 9 and 10-year-olds on how to work this social media. Right. So we'll stay on top of it. No WLW this month, unless, of course, the red season comes to an abrupt end, which could be likely. You never know. We'll keep you posted right here. Thanks for checking in. We'll check in with you next time, and that next time should be next Monday.
Absolutely.
He's Gamble. I'm Finn. Thanks for checking us out. Larger Than Live here at House Gamble in the Thunderdome.